Hello, we are moving on to a new skill in speech this week, and that is contrasting. So, the last couple weeks we've been working on comparing, which is how two things are the same. Now, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to talk about how they're different. Contrast, the ways that they're different. Okay? We're going to use the same handy dandy sheet, go through describing things this way. But now, instead of talking about things and thinking, oh, is that the same? We're going to think, oh, is that different? We want to find the differences. Sometimes the differences can be a little easier just because they're a little more obvious. They show up a little more than finding out ways where they are the same. And so contrasting might be a little bit easier, might be trickier, but we're going to use the same type of skills that we've been working on for the last few weeks, okay? So, things we're going to practice contrasting today, or talk about how they're different, are a crab, and a shark. So the first thing I want to do is talk about this lovely crab that I have on my head. So let's just run through these. We're just going to kind of describe this crab quick. What group would we put a crab in? I would like to say like kind of an ocean animal, sea creature. What's something that a crab does? It pinches you, right? They'll pinch you. Where would I find a crab? In the ocean, on a beach by the ocean, right? What does it look like? So here we're going to talk about the size, the shape, and the color. Crabs are a smaller animal, right? Around the size of your hands. The color is red, and the shape, they're round, right? They're round and red. Okay? So small, red, round. That's our crab. And then the last thing is the parts. So the parts on here, we've got legs, little pinchers, they'll get you, eyes, mouth, and just like we said, a one round body. That is our friend the crab. So keep that stuff in mind. Keep the things that we use to describe this crab in mind while we talk about a shark. Okay, so here's our shark. We're going to go through this yet again. What group would we put a shark in? I say again, sea animals, sea creatures. What's something that a shark does? They hunt for fish. They might bite. Where would we find a shark? In the ocean, right? What does it look like? So size, shape, and color. The size of a real shark, not the one that's on my head. They are huge. They can be really, really large animals, bigger than people. The shape, they are long, sleek animals. And the color is that, well, this one is a gray. And a lot of times when we think of sharks, we think of them as being gray. And the last is the parts. So what kind of parts do we see on this shark? Right here, we've got some sharp teeth. We've got a fin and a tail. We've got eyes somewhere on here. And they have, like a long body. So that's the thing when we think of a shark. That's the way that we can describe them. Okay, now comes the contrasting part. We gotta try to find at least two ways that these two are different. Okay? Let's start with the group. We called them both sea animals. So that's not different. What do they do? Do they do anything different? We said that a crab pinches, right? Does a shark pinch? No. So we could say a crab pinches and a shark bites. One thing when you're contrasting, if you're saying one thing about one item, you want to stay on the same sort of page as the other one. So I wouldn't want to say a crab pinches and a shark is gray. If we're talking about what one does, then we talk about what the other does. If we're talking about what color this one is, then we talk about what color this one is. So try to stay on the same page, okay? So they do different things. That's one way they're different. One pinches, one bites. Where would we find them both? We said in the sea. So that's the same. What does it look like? I think here is where we're going to find some major differences between what they look like. So we could say, is the color different? Yes. A crab is red. A shark is gray. We could talk about the size difference. A shark is bigger than a person, and a crab is smaller than a person. We could talk about the shape too. Crabs are round, and sharks are long. And then the parts. I think, again, we do already have two differences, right? They're different in the things that they do and different in what they look like, but let's just practice a little more with talking about how the parts are different. So we could say a crab has legs. A shark doesn't have legs. They have fins. Sharks have sharp teeth. A crab doesn't have sharp teeth to bite. Okay? So we kind of stay on the same line there. We found 3 different ways that these guys are different. I'm sure we could come up with a few more, but those are a great start. Your challenge for the contrasting this week is to tell me 2 ways, come up with 2 ways that chips and ice cream are different, okay? Remember, if you're going to talk about what will you do with one, talk about what you do with the other, decide if they're the same or different. I'll leave this up here, pause the screen here if you need this visual to help guide you through. And good luck with your challenge. You can post your answers below in the comments, write them out, send me a picture, tell somebody else what you've come up with. Just give it a shot and get your practicing in.